Bad End Saga. Addendum. Surpasser Encyclopedia. Chapter 1. Or, what is a surpasser? A surpasser is any being or entity that continually moves beyond its limits, never stopping, growing exponentially in potential, skill, and capability with each passing year of its life and the troubles therein. They are not giants. They are not titans. They are not gods. But neither are they necessarily human, demon, nor angel. They are something else entirely, and many of them are older than the oldest of titans. Think of them as related to primordial entities, and you'll begin to understand the picture a bit better. What does a surpasser look like? In theory, a surpasser could look like any other living being. It could be the cat down the road. It could be the dog up the street, your neighbor, a friend, family member, or loved one. Commonalities among surpassers is that they possess wisdom and knowledge well beyond their years, such that it makes people almost immediately question how and where they got that information. Were you to ask one, it would either stare at you and smile blankly, or were its body relatively new, say, I don't know, I just know it. Chapter 2, or Types of Surpassers. As mentioned before, surpassers come in many forms, shapes, and sizes. Mentioned here are just a few. Celestial surpassers. The closest thing you can get to an angel surpasser. They work very diligently to fight for what they feel is right, and they're always seeking to lift people's spirits and ease their troubles. Make no mistake, celestial surpassers aren't focused on what's considered good or evil. They mainly care about what the right thing is to do when they and their loved ones are faced with hardship. They seek out ways to accomplish their goals where the least amount of people as possible wind up negatively affected. But make no mistake, they are not against people they perceive as wrongdoers getting hurt. They seek only for the option that would inspire the most genuine maturity and personal development for the wrongdoers, while minimizing effects on the innocent. However, if a celestial surpasser winds up going down a darker path, they wind up a dark surpasser. These are surpassers that have let their light become dim, who give in to negative energies. They often, but not always, blame their problems on their circumstances rather than their actions. The emergence of a dark surpasser can happen at any time, even years after birth, if the newborn surpasser is fed misinformation about their life, existence, and circumstances. Dark surpassers are not always evil, however. As long as they don't let their circumstances define them, they still have the potential for good. Unlike shadow surpassers. These are the types of surpassers that have let the light in their being be completely snuffed out. They care about nothing and no one. They are the hollow husks of wasted potential, of darkness and madness scarred into every part of their being. It would be an understatement to say that shadow surpassers rarely, if ever, recognize the person staring back at them in the mirror. Shadow surpassers are typically unstable, often beyond normal human constructs of instability. While a dark surpasser might let you live if you cross their path, a shadow surpasser most definitely will not. They operate almost entirely by instinct, like an animal having contracted some form of rabid behavior. And then, at least for this chapter's purposes, there is one more type of surpasser, one that exists outside the definitions previously laid here. They are chaos surpassers. If shadow surpassers don't care about others due to be consumed in their suffering, chaos surpassers never cared to begin with. They're typically labeled insane, maniacal, evil to its core, a wolf in sheep's clothing, the works. They care only about themselves, no one else. Debates rage on for centuries whether chaos surpassers were born evil or contracted evil behavior due to their environment and upbringing. If you run into a chaos surpasser, run while you can, or if you can. People who encounter these types of surpassers rarely, if ever, make it out alive. Most humans would refer to their behavior as psychotic. Chapter 3: Development of a Surpasser. Part 1: Early Years. One common connecting thread between each and every type of surpasser is that they often don't fit in as they develop. Maybe they were an abnormal size at birth. Maybe they had a hindrance such as a stutter. Maybe they were really intelligent in some areas but struggled severely in others. Whatever the case, surpassers typically don't fit into the world, planet, or civilization they were born into. Many times during their early years, a surpasser will often look and sound like many others of their kind, but being around one instantly will give off vibes that they're different somehow, but in ways human languages can't often properly put into words. Many children, upon encountering a surpasser, will use words such as weird, gross, icky, or their absolute favorite, dumb or stupid. Whether or not the young surpasser takes these words truly to heart will often affect which of the previously mentioned types of surpasser they grow up to be one day. Part 2: Teenage years to early adulthood. Once hitting their later years, after youth but before true adulthood, many would say that a young surpasser gets more rebellious and pushes back a lot more. They may have unexplained habits, triggers, emotional swings, or otherwise behavior that seems atypical of even a regular teenager or young adult. Other times, a surpasser may not rebel against authority, but conformity. Whatever the case, they start to question the things they were told growing up. Please understand when raising a surpasser at this stage that they are still developing and may need a kind, understanding, supportive person in their lives to ensure they reach their highest potential. Part 3: Mid 20s to full on adulthood. Once, or in some cases provided, a surpasser well and truly develops into their adult years, they slowly start to become aware of their greater capabilities and how to use them. Depending on how they were raised, they may become a well appreciated and productive member of society, or they may, let's just say, get themselves into a lot of trouble. Often the sheer power and capability of an adult surpasser lies entirely on how they developed during their earlier and teenage years, and it can vary in intensity depending on how positive or troubled said surpasser's upbringing was. At this point in development, they may be finding their place in the world, or may in fact have already found said place. But there still is much more to consider about a surpasser's development. End of Draft 1.